Now, what is wrong with pornography is the basic message of pornography. What is the basic message of pornography? It is this: that sex may be divorced from love, may be divorced from commitment, may be divorced from morality and responsibility. That is the message of pornography. That you can take sex and divorce it from responsibility, morality, love, and commitment. And that is what is being put in the heads of people, and in no small way. Let me tell you about pornography. First of all, pornography is psychological poison. Psychologically, it will affect your mind. Now, we have some eggheads today who tell you that what gets into your mind does not affect what you do. Now, number one, they're stupid. Number two, they're dishonest. One or the other. If what you see does not affect what you do, you tell me why people will pay $500,000 for a 30-second Super Bowl ad. You think they're just throwing money away? No. That one ad, they say, is worth more than $500,000 for just a few seconds, because they know that they know that they know what people see affects what they do. Victor Klein, a clinical psychologist, been in practice many years, is an expert on the effects of pornography in the hearts and minds of young men and young women, or whomever it may be. And he mentions 4 steps. First of all, there is the addiction effect. When people see pornography, they become addicted to pornography, very much like a person is addicted to some narcotic. They get hooked on that material, so they keep coming back. That's the first thing. The second step is what we call the escalation factor. What satisfied them, what titillated them, what excited them the first time, causes them to want the same thing, only a little more, a little rougher, a little more deviant, because he doesn't get the same kick as he got the first time. Again, very much like a narcotic. First of all, the addiction factor, then the escalation factor, and then thirdly, there comes the desensitization factor. He gets desensitized. That is, what used to shock him, what used to frighten him, what used to be abhorrent to him, even though he got perhaps some sexual motivation from it, now becomes normal. Even incest, or brutal rape, or injury to women, where little teeny boppers today are bebopping to rap songs that talk about brutalizing women. People become desensitized, but then the last step, according to Dr. Victor Klein, is this: they then begin to act out these fantasies into life. And they will urge, many men will come home after reading pornography and urge his wife, even sometime at her harm, to participate with him in these kinds of things, or sexually deviant behavior, or try to get his children to participate in deviant behavior, or members of his own family, or perhaps he will force that deviant behavior on someone else. It is, my dear friend, psychological poison. It is, secondly, a social sickness. A Harvard University professor wrote a book on pornography, and he called pornography, or he sees Americans rather, as victims of a sex mania as malignant as cancer and as menacing as communism. I would say this time it seems to be more menacing than communism. And across America, there are a number of magazines today that are devoted to what we call kiddie porn. And these magazines lean heavily toward incest and forced sex with children. And these magazines actually tell those who read these sick magazines that little children enjoy this, that you're doing them a favor, that women really enjoy rape, and the fighting and the screaming are screams of pleasure, and that in a few minutes these terrified victims will become willing and passionate lovers. Now, this material is being printed by the billions of dollars. Now, again, you talk to some egghead, one of these social engineers, and he will tell you that pornography is a legitimate outlet. He will say, you know, if some people have some pent-up sexual desires, let him read pornography. We ship it to the boys in the army. By the way, in Saudi Arabia, they're saying we don't want that filth over there. How does that make you feel as an American? Doesn't that make you want to hang your head in shame that the nation, the Islamic faith, will not accept the material from so-called Christian America? And but we see to it that the boys in prison get all that they want of these sex magazines paid for with tax dollars. And we say, well, that helps them to get rid of their sexual frustrations. If you believe that, I have a bridge in Brooklyn I'd like to sell you. My dear friend, if you believe that, if you believe that you can cure alcoholics with liquor, drug addicts with drugs, and sex perverts with pornography, you also believe that you can put out a fire with gasoline. It, my dear friend, is a social sickness. Trained policemen say, and I quote, "Not everyone who reads pornography is a sexual deviant, but every sexual deviant reads it." It is a social sickness.